We're Andy and Jenna, better known as a couple travelers.
We've spent the last 5 years exploring the world, covering everything across theme parks, cruises, and resorts.
In our last video, we explained Virgin Voyage's new fare structure, so you know what's included and what's not included in your sailing.
Today, we're switching from the high seas to the Caribbean Sea, where we share our list of the top 5 Sandals Resorts for foodies.
Such a big part of an all-inclusive vacation is the food. You could eat as much as you want, you could drink as much as you want. With us going to so many sandals ourselves and with Jenna selling so many sandals vacations as a travel agent, we've come up with a list of the top 5 sandals resorts if you are a foodie.
So how did we come up with our list? Number of restaurants, the variety of cuisine, and the overall food quality. And we've been to all 5 of the ones that are on this list. And stay tuned to the end of the video as we'll share the resort that we think is by far the one for foodies.
So starting our list, we actually have 2 for the price of 1. Sandals Barbados and Royal Barbados take spots 4 and 5 on our list. And they are on this list, not surprisingly if you know sandals, simply because of the sheer number of options you have. And just a little note about this was one of the sandals that we stayed at before we formally started a couple travelers, so we don't have a ton of video footage from this resort, but I'll pull whatever photos we have, whatever like iPhone videos we have, and any photos from the website. But everything else we've stayed at since we started the couple travelers, so that footage that you'll see in this will look a lot better. Between these 2 resorts, you have 20 restaurants to choose from. And these are really unique because out of the entire Sandals portfolio of 17 resorts, these are the only 2 that are located right next to each other. So if you stay at Royal Barbados, you could walk to Barbados and go to the restaurants there, and vice versa. It's a big perk for staying at Barbados.
And I also like to point out that you should just treat this as one resort because it's not abundantly clear when you've crossed over from one to the other. Unless you look, you know what the resort maps look like and have an idea that way. It's not, oh, I need to walk over to Barbados. It's like, you're just kind of at this mega resort and can go wherever you want.
So again, these resorts are top of the list because of the sheer number of options that they have. This is also great because it has a nice balance of all the old kind of OG Sandals restaurants that you know and love. So your British style pub, Spices Caribbean for like the buffet. It has the Mariner, Schooners for seafood, Neptune's for your lunch right on the beach. So there's a lot of good OG Sandals restaurant options, which is very comforting if you've been going to Sandals for years. Sandals Barbados and Royal Barbados also have 2 Butch's steakhouses. This is a Sandals favorite. The one on the Barbados side is your traditional steakhouse. On the Royal side, it's Butch's Steak and Seafood, so there's more seafood on the menu. But to have 2 Butch's at basically one resort is great. On the Barbados side, there's also a Bombay Club, which is Indian food. To this day, that is still one of our favorite meals.
Loved it so much.
That we've ever had at a Sandals. We went there twice in 1 week. It was that good. There's also La Parisienne, which is a rooftop French restaurant open for breakfast and dinner, which is really great. You have Sweet and Salty Donuts, which is kind of the coffee shop on the Royal side. There's a Cafe de Paris on the regular Barbados side. And then they have Heart and Soul. And this was Sandals' first kind of wellness, health food focused restaurant concept. So it's like a New York style deli where you can go in and get more healthy options for soups, salads, bowls, sandwiches, things like that.
So moving on to the number 3 spot, we have Sandals Dunn's River, which is one of the 3 Sandals resorts in the Sandals 2.0 category, meaning just a little bit of a updated, more luxurious resort experience. At Sandals Dunn's River, there are 12 restaurant concepts and 9 bars, so a good variety for a single resort standing alone. One of the restaurants that we absolutely love here at Dunn's River is Zuka, and this restaurant concept originated at Sandals Royal Curaçao, so this is the second time it's showing up at a Sandals resort, and it is a Central and South American cuisine restaurant. Beautiful design, really unique food. The first time we had Zuka, we were like, oh wow, this really feels elevated and special and unique for Sandals, so absolutely loved that. Then Sandals Dunn's River introduced 2 brand new dining concepts at the resort, which is great. The first was Bloom, which is a coffee shop. Before they had Cafe de Paris, which is found at many Sandals resorts and is, Parisian themed, crepes, coffee, ice cream, that sort of thing. Bloom is a new experience. It's very Jamaica forward. Blue Mountain coffee, nice pastries, cookies, that sort of thing. And what we loved here at Dunn's River is that it was actually like sit down table service. We went to go get like an iced latte and I got some coffee cake and they just like served us in like glass with like heavy plates and utensils. It was like not just like, here's something in a bag and you take it to walk away. So it was nice.
Yeah, you can get it to go too, which is good, but it was nice to have that option.
And then the other new dining concept at Dunn's River is the Dunn's Rum Club, which we loved. We were so excited when we later saw this at Saint Vincent. But essentially this is a rum bar. It is the late night spot at the resort. It had a good crowd every night. They had pool tables. They have a food menu in addition to the drinks. The espresso martinis are really good here. We did rum tastings here.
Yeah.
We got a bunch of samplings of food. It was like unique things too, different apps.
And with a lot of the staff being local to Jamaica too, like they get to speak from their own experience about like what rums to try. So that was really great.
And if you're interested in checking out a Sandals vacation, I did want to mention that I am a travel agent who specializes in Sandals vacations. It is completely free to work with a travel agent. So if you work with me, you'll be paying the same price that you see on the Sandals website, but you'll get my expertise at making sure you find the right deal, the right resort and room category for you, and make sure you have all the information needed to have a great time. So if you're interested in getting a no obligation quote, I'll put my email address in the video description below.
And if this video has been helpful so far, please consider liking and subscribing and leave us a comment with what your favorite Sandals restaurant is. We'd love to see that. The number 2 Sandals resort for foodies is Sandals Royal Curaçao. This was the first resort that opened as part of Sandals 2.0 in June of 2022. We were there for the first week it opened, which was an experience. We have a bunch of videos out. You could go check out that playlist. But this resort has 8 restaurants, including 3 food trucks, and then 13 bars, so no shortage of bars as well. And Sandals Royal Curaçao is really known for introducing a lot of the restaurant concepts that can now be found at other Sandals resorts, including Zuka. So we just mentioned Zuka for Sandals Dunn's River. Its first appearance was here at Sandals Royal Curaçao, in addition to Gatsu Gatsu. Now Gatsu Gatsu I think is probably our favorite of the Asian cuisine options across Sandals. It's a little bit elevated from your soy and your kimonos. We've never had a bad meal at Gatsu Gatsu, and its first appearance was at Royal Curaçao. This resort also features Sandals' first foray into Greek cuisine with Alos. This restaurant is gorgeous. It is a big pavilion located right on the ocean. This restaurant serves breakfast and dinner, so if you want a great meal with some oceanfront views, this is the place to go. And you can't talk about Sandals Royal Curaçao without talking about the food trucks. This is something that Sandals has rolled out at Royal Bahamian as well. There's 2 of them there, but there's 3 here at Curaçao. There's Kishi, which is Asian fusion and bao buns. There's Titeki, which is traditional Curaçao fare. And there's also La Palma, which is Spanish tapas. And these food trucks are great if you want a more casual lunch option. They're open from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. for snacks and lunch, so just really good, kind of more of a quick bite place to go at the resort. Now, before we get into the best Sandals resort for foodies, we want to mention that we have full dining overviews for all of these resorts here on YouTube now. They are all in our Sandals playlist, and in these videos we go into much more detail about each of the dining options at the resort, so when they're open, for what meals, what kind of attire you need to wear for those meals, so be sure to check those out after this video.
So what we think is the #1 resort for foodies, Sandals Saint Vincent. This is the newest Sandals resort. It opened in 2024 and is the 3rd resort in the Sandals 2.0 category besides Curaçao and Dunn's River. Now at this resort, they have 12 restaurants, 9 bars. They have a lot of unique concepts that have been started here at Saint Vincent, in addition to bringing on some other ones that have been introduced more recently as well. And if you are a foodie, if you like a little bit of an elevated menu and not just solely a burger and fries situation for lunch, this definitely will be the resort for you.
And I think the defining restaurant for that is Parasol. Yes. Which is your poolside lunch option. They're kind of pitching it as a beach club vibe, and at your more traditional like OG Sandals, like you'll find like a quesadilla on the menu, a burger, things like that. This was very much a step away from that. So if you are a foodie and want that elevated cuisine, even for something like lunch by the pool, Saint Vincent has that.
Even their breakfast offering there, it wasn't just like, oh, scrambled eggs and toast. It was like mushroom goat cheese frittatas, which I loved. But yes, it's like, you know, ceviche at lunch and crudité and different fish entrees and much more elevated staples. But in addition, cannot talk about St. Vincent dining without talking about Bukan. Bukan is a family style restaurant. It's an open air restaurant and it actually serves local cuisine, which I thought was so unique and such a differentiator to other resorts. So, you know, we sat at a table with 3 or 4 other couples and the chefs were really great at explaining what things were and how to eat them and what goes really well together. And you had, you know, specialty cocktails. It was a really fun experience. I loved it. If you go to St. Vincent, this is definitely a must. They also have Amoro, which is a new concept, and this is a make your own salad bar.
It was great to have that fresher, lighter option for lunch. Yeah.
And it's also conveniently located right next to the pizza place. We loved getting a pizza and salad and eating that at our pool chairs.
Best of both worlds.
You know, balance.
This is very similar to the Heart and Soul restaurant that we mentioned for Barbados and Royal Barbados, kind of that kind of lighter fare.
But then they also have a Butch's, your classic steakhouse. They have Scrimshaw, which is a seafood restaurant. They have a Gatsu Gatsu for excellent sushi. So it really is very well-rounded. And then they also have 2 coffee shops. One of them is Bloom, which we talked about at Sandals Dunn's River, which is great. And then the other side had Crema, which was more still a coffee shop, but had ice cream. And so no matter where you were at the resort, you were near a coffee shop, which was really cool.
So all in all of these 5 resorts really deliver when it comes to the dining and the food. We have had great experience at all of these, but would love to hear from you in the comments about which Sandals resort you love for food as well. And if you've been following us for a while, you know, we cover a lot of Sandals. Jenna loves selling and helping her clients plan Sandals vacations. So if you want to see all of the Sandals videos that we have on YouTube, of which there are many, we'll link that playlist in the video description.